What was the biggest 1000 IQ move in any war? In World War II it was customary for cities being bombed to switch their lights off at night to make it harder for bombers to target them. There was still damage though. There was a German town near the border of Germany and neutral Switzerland. They intentionally kept their lights on at night so that bombers would mistake them as part of Switzerland. During World War II, a Japanese submarine called Ro 105 was being hunted by a group of American destroyer escorts. Now this submarine was a beast. Her crew pulled out every trick in the book to avoid being sunk, counterpinging the American ship's sonar to disorient them, creating strong wakes to throw off their attack runs, seemingly always following the destroyer escort's wakes, you name it, even surfacing in the middle of the hunt to launch a spread of torpedoes at her pursuers. She had evaded well over a dozen depth charge and hedgehog attacks, and despite possibly taking some damage was still kicking. Ro 105 had kept this up for over 24 hours, and both oxygen in the submarine and her battery levels were running low, two issues that could only be remedied by surfacing for an extended amount of time. So what does she do? She surfaces directly in between the two ships hunting her, gambling that they wouldn't risk friendly fire by trying to attack her. The two ships detected the surfaced sub immediately and trained their searchlights on her, but as predicted, neither was willing to risk firing on the other. In a tense standoff the two American ships began to try and maneuver to get out of each other's way, but about 5 minutes after she had surfaced, Ro 105 realized she'd overstayed her welcome and resubmerged with only barely restored, if at all, oxygen and batteries. Regardless, she bought herself a little more time. She then kept the chase up for several more hours, until the hunter-killer group S-Ace, USS England, was begrudgingly called in to give Ro 105 a go. England successfully sunk the brilliant and cunning Ro 105 with her first attack, much to the astonishment and frustration of her squad mates who had spent well over a day trying to put her down. It was her 6th kill in under 2 weeks, a record that has never been matched in the history of anti-submarine warfare. In World War II, a group of Russian females pilots used old aircraft, so slow that German ones couldn't follow them because their planes were stalling, see Night Witches. Napoleon was assembling a fleet to prepare for a possible invasion of England in 1805, and sailed from Cadiz to take control of the English Channel. Nelson assembled a fleet of 27 Royal Navy ships, to the allied Franco-Spanish fleet S-33, and, instead of doing the conventional thing and forming a line of battle where both fleets could slug it out, instead charged at the enemy head-on, with the intention of splitting the fleet. This was an extremely risky move. Ships of the line were almost totally unable to fire except from the side, so it would expose him to the full force of the enemy, while he was almost totally unable to oppose them. His flagship Victory was very badly damaged on the approach, and Nelson himself was killed, but the plan worked perfectly. The fleet was split into 3, 21 allied ships captured, and 1 sunk, to no British losses. This victory secured British naval dominance for a century and ended Napoleon's invasion plans. I like the one where one side was completely outnumbered. They rigged their guns up in the trenches with varying candles and wicks to make the rigged up guns to go off at separate times, and they retreated. The opposing side thought they were still there and fought a non-existent army.